What's good, YouTube? That192 here, back again, once again, and today, I am your coach of the Tucson Terrakions for the UCL, the United Championship League, and we are here for our Week 8, I believe? Am I counting right? This is Week 8, our Week 8 team preparation video. Is it Week 8 already? My God, we're halfway through the season already, giggity goddamn! But, we're here for our Week 8 UCL team prep video. And we are team preparation. We're team preparing. We're preparing our team. Is that how you're supposed to say it? We're preparing our team to go up against one of the best teams in the league. Someone else who's helped us team build as well, and a new friend of mine, Joey Pokey-Aim, coach of the Bronx Beartics, and everyone has their money on Joey to win this week. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, Joey is a really, really good battler. He's helped his team build a lot. I trust and put 100% faith in him and his berries. So our goal this week is to, step 1, not get blown back. And then step 2 is to actually pull out the W. I'm very, very nervous for this battle, more so than any, because of the fact that even though Joey and I aren't undefeated any longer, we do still have the same score, both 6-1 right now. So it'll be a very interesting battle, to say the least. And one of the unique things about our battle and about our team matchup is that half of our team can destroy Joey's team, and half of Joey's team can destroy our team. So it's going to be a very, very interesting battle back and forth, and I feel like I might end up being that guy to make that one wrong play that's just going to give him the chance to take advantage and run free reign over our entire team and pull out the W. But nonetheless, I'm still going to prepare accordingly. I'm still going to give it my all. It's just the odds are stacked against us again this week. So if you guys are hyped for some team preparation, and of course if you're a proud member of the Happy Nation, make sure you smash our like button down below for us, because you already know your support is greatly appreciated. Now, looking at Joey's team, he has Manaphy, Tornadus T, and Weavile, all from OU. Mega Ampharos, Reuniclus, and Cobalion from UU. He has Amoonguss, Asselgore, and Dugtrio from RU, and then Rhydon, Claydol, and Audino from NU. So, in preparation for building the team, one of the things I like to do is I like to look at the other person's team, the opponent's team, and figure out what the biggest threats for our team is on their team. Not necessarily what they're going to bring against us, because I know some of the coaches in the UCL like to team build in the sense that, oh, let me imagine like I'm them and build a team for our own team, and let's just build around that. No, I want to look at their team and figure out what Pokemon do they have that can tear a hole through our entire team. You know, like when we battled Leo, his Thundurus was the biggest problem for us, so we had so many checks to his Thundurus, so many things that we wanted to instill on our team to handle his Thundurus. Whether he brought it or not, we wanted to make sure we could handle that Thundurus. That's kind of like my logic behind it, because then once you build and you can handle these mons that can tear through your team, then you like stack on top of that and plan for the other mons that aren't as threatening. Does that make sense? That's kind of sort of how I view it. And the mons on his team that are the biggest threats to us, Weavile, Tornadus T, Manaphy, and Dugtrio, are honestly the biggest problems for us. When it comes to what mons we think he's most likely going to bring, there's Weavile, of course. Weavile is one of the most threatening mons that he could possibly ever bring. That is the scariest thing. That's the sole reason we don't have Gengar this week, is because of Weavile. Reuniclus, Cobalion, a Scarf Cobalion can honestly 6-0 us. Like a Scarf Cobalion is going to be a problem, to say the least. There's Weavile, Reuniclus, Cobalion, Audino, Claydol, and Amoonguss. The plus side to Joey's team is that he only has one mon to get rid of hazards. He has Claydol, who can spin away hazards. He has Rhydon, I believe, does get Stealth Rocks. He can set up rocks with Rhydon. Cobalion gets rocks as well. I think the trio does too, and of course Claydol. So he has a few different mons that can set up hazards, but I'm pretty sure, unless I'm missing something, Claydol is the only mon that he has that can spin away those hazards. So if he wants to get rid of rocks, which is a priority for us, again, I'll explain once we get into team building, he's going to have to bring the Claydol, and Claydol is something that we can accurately prepare for and plan for and whatnot, so Claydol's not that big of a threat. By the way, looking at our team that we went ahead and prepared, Nexus Sensei, of course, did help us out as well. Leading off the pack, we have our Mega Gardevoir. Titania is joining us this week. We are running a standard set, and before everyone hates on it in the comment section, but Hyper Voice, Psyshock, Will-O-Wisp, and Taunt. I meant it's standard in the sense of its EV spread, 252 special attack, 252 speed, timid nature with 4 in defense. The reason that Mega Gardevoir is the first mod on the team this week is because looking at I call him Leo. Looking at Joey's team, I had Leo on the brain because we were talking about the Thunderous. But looking at Joey's team, there's nothing that he has that can safely switch in on Gardevoir. There is Manaphy, who gets destroyed. Well, once Manaphy gets destroyed, but Manaphy's not going to appreciate a Hyper Voice. Tornadus T is not going to appreciate a Hyper Voice. Weavile, min damage, Hyper Voice is like 112%. Weavile is getting destroyed. Mega Ampharos is not going to appreciate it. Reuniclus can eat up a Hyper Voice. I think it does like 40% or something like that to Reuniclus. We just have to keep him from setting up. That's the biggest thing. Because obviously, if he wants to set up with Calm Mind and whatnot, then it's going to be a problem. But Cobalion doesn't appreciate a Hyper Voice either. Amoonguss can eat up a Hyper Voice, but at the same time, there's the potential to Psyshock, and Psyshock min damage on Amoonguss is like 98%. So that coupled with rocks will do away Amoonguss. Asselgore gets blown away by Hyper Voice. Like Trio gets blown away. Rhydon gets blown away. Claydol could be built specially defensive, and he might be able to eat a hit. Audino can eat a hit as well, but what can Audino do in return to us? Toxicus? Like that would be the extent. So looking at Joey's team, that's why Gardevoir was the first mod that we went ahead and scooped up on the team, because nothing can safely take a hit. Now, the only thing that would mess up that plan is if he were to predict like a Psyshock against the Amoonguss or something and went out to Weavile. Then it was Weavile v Gardevoir 1v1. Then we have a problem, because Icicle Crash can do an insane amount of work to Gardevoir, and that's no good. That's no good. Because at that point, I think Ice Shard does like 45% or something like that. So we don't want to take any more damage on Gardevoir than we need to, and we need to Hyper Voice the fuck out of that Weavile. If we do have any sort of notion of Joey bringing in the Weavile, then we could potentially go for a Will-O-Wisp if we don't want to risk it. Like, say, for example, the Amoonguss is out, and we're afraid that he might double out into Weavile to take the Psyshock. We could safely go for a Will-O-Wisp, burn the Amoonguss. I mean, you know, it's one of those situations where, like, what do we lose by going from one move over another? We could burn the Amoonguss if he decides to stay in and go for Sludge Bomb, because Sludge Bomb is still going to hurt us. That's going to do, like, 60% or something like that. And, at that point, I think Hyper Voice only does, like, 30% or something like that to Amoonguss. So, I don't know. It's really one of those things where it's up in the air. You know, that's how it is. When I said at the beginning of this video, like, half of Joey's team destroys us and half of our team destroys Joey. It's one of those things where if I fuck up and go for the wrong move in the wrong situation, that could cost us the entire match. You know, it's one of those things where RNG might come into play with this battle, and everyone hates hacks, everyone hates crits, but it's a part of the game, and it just sucks. That's all I'm gonna say. It just sucks, no matter what. But still, we have Taunt for the Reuniclus as well, because, like I said, Hyper Voice is only going to do like 30-35% to Reuniclus if he's built especially defensive, so that could just be setup fodder. But if we Taunt him, it keeps him from Trick Rooming, that keeps him from recovering, that keeps him from Calm Minding. We can go ahead and just hit him with Hyper Voice after Hyper Voice after Hyper Voice after Hyper Voice. And if he wants to run Energy Ball, which, again, that's another thing, I'm going to speak about that with Cindy, but like half his team can learn grass type moves. I almost didn't want to bring Cindy this week, but we have a reason for it. But still, if you want to say this with an Energy Ball or a Psyshock or a Psychic or anything like that, Psychic and Psyshock are resisted hits. We should be able to eat those up and dish out more damage to the Reuniclus than what the Reuniclus does to us. And if we can keep him from recovering, then we're good to go with that as well. So that's why our Gardevoir is here. Like I said, it runs house on his entire team. We just have to be very, very careful with Gardevoir and not let Titania go down too soon or to a foolish play. Knock on wood when I say that. Moving on, Liability. Why is he not named? I hope that wasn't Jen wrong, because I forgot to nickname him. I didn't name the Rotom-Heat. I'm slipping, yo. We have Liability the Krookodile, and we decided to bring the Scarf Moxie again this week. It's not that smart to bring the same mon back to back, but when it comes to the rest of his team, once we get rid of the 1 or 2 mons that can eat up an Earthquake or a Crunch, again, it got a chance to sweep. You know, we don't really need Intimidate this week. It would be nice against the Weavile and maybe the Cobalion, but again, it's one of those things where you have to weigh your options and what is more useful to your team. You know, could a potential late game sweep, or just the fact that we have a Scarfer. The fact that we have a Scarfer that can outspeed some of his potential faster mons, that's what comes in more handy for us. Again, super duper simple set. 252 attack, 252 speed, Jolly Nature, and 4 in defense. It's one of those things where if it's not broken, you don't need to fix it. But he's rocking Earthquake and Crunch, and we decided to go with Stealth Rock. Originally, Nexus and I were talking about it, and he was saying we should run Aqua Tail for the Rhydon, because Rhydon eats up Crunches, Rhydon eats up Earthquakes. But it's one of those things where what's the potential of him bringing a Rhydon against our team? And we have other mons that can handle Rhydon as well. You know, like we have Cindy there, we have Blue Note there, we have Titania there. If we needed to, we could send somebody else in and hit the Rhydon just as hard. But, of course, Eviolite Rhydon does eat up Earthquakes and eat up a Crunch. We do have Superpower just in case we want to do that, but Superpower is more so there for the Audino, #1, so that we can hit it as hard as we can. And, the Weavile and Cobalion kinda, but Earthquake kinda sorta do the exact same damage. But the only reason we got rid of Aqua Tail and played some Stealth Rock is because with a mon like Tornadus running wild on his team and Weavile who might be switching in and out, in and out, in and out, we want to get that chip damage off. This is our #1 priority in this battle, is to get Stealth Rocks up. PK, I spoke to him about it, and he pointed something out to me that Joey honestly might not have that big of an issue with Stealth Rocks. Because, you know how I mentioned he only had one spinner with Claydol? He might not worry about rocks that much because the mon that gets affected by rocks the most on his team, being Tornadus, has Regenerator. And he's regenerating more health when he swaps out than he takes damage coming in from Stealth Rocks. So it's not one of those things where he's necessarily super concerned about it. Of course, when it comes to calculating, you know, after rocks damage and whatnot, he might want to keep that in mind, which I'm sure he does, but it's one of those things where you don't necessarily have to be afraid to come in on rocks, because you know if you want to U-turn out or if you want to hard switch out, the Regenerator is just going to heal all that rock damage back to you. So it's interesting, but at the same time, like I said, with mons like Weavile being as huge of a threat as it is for us, we definitely want to get rocks up and get that damage off each time, so that hopefully maybe later on we can get a quick hit off on the Weavile and knock it out, because like I said, Weavile, Tornadus, and Cobalion, honestly, a Scarf Cobalion is the biggest problem for our team. The biggest problem for our team. But yeah, Earthquake, Crunch, Superpower, and Stealth Rock. If we did lock ourselves into Superpower, we would, of course, be negating the Moxie boost. But I would only lock ourselves into Superpower if it was a situation where we absolutely 100% needed to kill. Because outside of that, Earthquake and Crunch, of course, do more damage because they're stab. And of course, we're here to crunch the hell out of that Reuniclus. Joey, on the off chance, might build a mix defensively Reuniclus, so maybe take a Crunch and hit us back with an Energy Ball or something like that. Because obviously, if he wants to predict Crook to come in and take a Psychic type hit, then he could just load up an Energy Ball, and that's going to destroy us coming from Reuniclus. Joey's Reuniclus is monstrous, to say the least. So I don't know, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of bringing the same mons week after week after week after week, but at the same time, it's just too convenient to not bring. You know what I mean? I don't know. Moving on, we have our Rotom-Heat. Rotom-Heat, who is rocking leftovers, and he is built specially defensive. The reason that we built a specially defensive Rotom this week is because we debated bringing Chansey. We debated bringing Canada Chansey, but looking at it, Joey has too many knockoff users. He has low kick from Weavile and a few other things that just absolutely destroy Chansey. So while Chansey would be nice to have as a special wall, you know, we could wall a couple of his more offensive mons, at the same time, it's just too risky. It's too risky to run in the chance that Chansey does get hit with a knockoff, because at that point, Chansey's only living certain hits. You know, we're not eating up hits as well as we did with Eviolite. No shit. But still, it's one of those things where he has the potential to run knockoff on too many of his mons, so Chansey just kind of fell short this week. But we built a especially defensive leftovers Rotom-Heat, and he's here ideally to help us with the Tornadus. Because obviously, if he wants to hit us with a Hurricane, it's going to hurt, but it is a resisted hit. I just hope and pray we don't get confused. He's also here to help us out with the Reuniclus. Maybe we can take a few Energy Balls or a Psychic here and there, and we can Pain Split some of that health away from the bulky-ass Reuniclus. We can Overheat and Volt Switch. Honestly, I wouldn't Overheat on the Reuniclus. I would just Volt Switch out and go into someone else that can handle it better. But Rotom-Heat, obviously, again, is here for the Amoonguss. I'm just trying to, like, pick apart, you know, different parts of his team for us to look at. The Cobalion gets completely destroyed by an Overheat, of course. The Manaphy, it's nice to get a Volt Switch off on that if we need to. Again, that's one of those things where if we predict it coming in, because obviously we're not going to want to take a Scald from the Manaphy. That's going to hurt us quite a bit. Maybe we might be able to take one Scald on our own, but if the Manaphy sets up Tail Glow, we want to Volt Switch out into our Swellow, because Swellow is the check for the Manaphy, but I'll speak on that in just a moment. But still, like I said, Rotom-Heat, he helps us handle a few of the different mons in Joey's team, and like I said, he's mainly here so that we can eat up a Hurricane from that Tornadus, so that it can't just run house on our entire team. And of course, Will-O-Wisp is there for the Weavile, because Weavile, he'd have to use knockoff on us or some shit. He'd have to knock off on us, which is going to hurt a ton. But if we get the chance to burn that little Weavile, either from Gardevoir, because I don't know if you guys noticed, I don't think I spoke on this, but Gardevoir is running Will-O-Wisp as well. If we get the chance to burn, yeah, I did speak about that. If we get the chance to burn the Weavile in any way, shape, or form, that's definitely going to help out a lot. That's going to take away the scary factor of that Weavile just a teeny tiny tad bit. So, Rotom 30 Minutes is joining us once more. Ursa, the Swellow, is back again, once again. Again, super simple sets. Like I said, it's one of those things this week where we have the Mons, and their regular movesets are effective against Joey's team. It just comes down to how we play them, and hopefully we won't swap out on a +4 Lucario like we did against Leo. But we are Flame Orb. This time we don't have Protect. Flame Orb, Guts, 252 attack, 252 speed, 4 in special defense. The reason that we have max speed is so that we can outspeed Weavile's Ice Shard. A quick attack, Guts boosted quick attack from Ursa does 44% max, I think, to Weavile, which is a lot of damage. Keep in mind, if we have rocks up and we can get a quick attack off, which again, we outspeed, unless he runs Scarf Weavile, specifically to outspeed our quick attack Swellow, you know, unless he does something like that, we're down to, because I think it's is it a speed tie? No, I take it back. I think it's a speed tie. Actually, I think it's a speed tie at this point. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just build a new team real quick and add Weavile and check out his speed at level 50. Let's set you up here, bruh. So if it is a Jolly Nature, 252 in speed, he's base 194. And I'm pretty sure Swellow's the exact same. Yeah, 194. So it's one of those things where, like I said, we put max speed in there so that we have a chance to outspeed with the quick attack. It just comes down to a speed tie at that point, which is really, honestly, very, very scary. But if we do get the quick attack off, that's 44%. That's almost half damage right then and there. And couple that with rocks, we're slowly but surely whittling that Weavile down and away. And if he, for whatever reason, decides to run Adamant Weavile, we definitely do outspeed and we get that clean chunk of health away from him. And like I said, it's just one of those things where the Weavile is such a huge problem, huge threat for our team. So I hope that we're not focusing too much on just the one Mon, that we end up neglecting another threat that I just didn't happen to see. But either way, Brave Bird, Facade, U-Turn, and Quick Attack this time around. Quick Attack would have been nice to have in the battle against Shady. We had Protect instead, but we're going to run Quick Attack this time, like I said, again, specifically just for the Weavile. I mean, I guess it's there for, in case he ends up having a Scarf for somewhere else. Not that, I mean, it depends on who he's got Scarfed, you know, if we still outspeed it or not. But I don't know, it's just there for the chance to have priority. Actually, no, that would be nice against the Scarfer, because unless the Scarfer locks himself into a priority move, Quick Attack would still go first. So it's just there for essentials and whatnot to help us out. So Ursa is back again this week, and like I said, Ursa is our check to the Tail Glow Manaphy, because he can set up, Manaphy's base 100 speed, he can set up as many Tail Glows as he likes. Manaphy is not going to appreciate a Brave Bird, Manaphy's not going to appreciate a Facade, followed up by a Quick Attack afterwards. You can set up your Tail Glows if you want, it's just we're going to get some damage off with Ursa in return to that Manaphy. So, I don't know. I was talking to Nexus, and I think he was saying that Joey built a bulky Manaphy more often than not for his battles so far. So it'll be interesting to see what Manaphy brings this week, if he brings Manaphy at all. It would be so very nice if Manaphy didn't get Energy Ball. If Manaphy just didn't get Energy Ball, we wouldn't have to worry about it because we have Cindy here to soak up all the hits. But no, it's got to get Energy Ball for whatever reason. Either way, up next, you guys, we have Blue Note, our Lucario. And for the first time all season, Blue Note is going to be special this week. We have our Life Orb Steadfast, not Justified, because Justify raises your physical attack if you're hit with a dark type move, and we're not physical this week, so we don't need to be. But this week we are running max special attack, max speed, timid nature with 4 in defense for if we need to take a hit, a knockoff, or whatever. But we're running steadfast. Justified ups your attack, and this will up our speed by 1 stage, which is very, 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 very nice. So on the off chance that he might run somebody that could flinch us out, there goes our speed, and that could give us the upper hand that we need to knock out a mon or something. But we are running Dark Pulse, Psychic, Nasty Plot, and Vacuum Wave. Vacuum Wave is there for the priority, again, against the Weavile, because Weavile, if he ends up going with priority as Ice Shard, Ice Shard's not going to knock us out. Well, from full HP, obviously it depends on where we're at, but Ice Shard, we take an Ice Shard better than he takes a Vacuum Wave, to say the least. Nasty Spot's there on the off chance that we do get the chance to get a Nasty Spot up. If that's the case, Vacuum Wave's hitting everybody but the Amoonguss for a decent amount of damage if we need to get some chip damage off. Dark Pulse is there for the Reuniclus. Dark Pulse on its own, I think, does like 35% or something. It's upwards of like 40%. So we get an Nasty Spot up, we're doing decent damage to that Reuniclus, and I think unless the Reuniclus is set up, he can't one-shot us with a Psychic or a Psyshock. Of course, we take Psyshock better than Psychic, but he can't one-shot us unless he ends up getting a crit. That's why I said this battle might come down to RNG, or if he's set up already. But like I said, Dark Pulse is there for the Reuniclus, and Vacuum Wave hits the Cobalion, Vacuum Wave hits the Weavile, obviously. It can do decent damage to Dugtrio, Rhydon, Audino as well, you know, and Psychic is there for Amoonguss and a few of the other mons, so that we can help have some diversity. I'm trying to like gather my thoughts. That's why my sentence is sporadic. I'm trying to gather my thoughts and remember all the reasons that we had for team building what we did, you know what I mean? So it's just there for diversity in the moveset. We decided not to run Flash Cannon this time around because we really don't have a need for it. When it comes to Rhydon, we have other mons on the team that can handle a Rhydon, and I mean, he doesn't have Mega Audino, so we really don't need Flash Cannon for anybody on his team. So we just chose not to bring it. But Vacuum Wave obviously is there, like I said. That's to help us. It's another check against the Weavile, especially with it being Life Orb boosted. Hopefully, Blue Note can put in some work. If we do get the chance to get a Nasty Pot up, that's going to be very, very, very beneficial, because then we have priority that's popping people. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how we end up playing with it. I normally don't ever run a special Lucario, so this is one of my first times messing with it like this. So, it'll be interesting to see how it all pans out. Last but not least, we have Cindy. Everybody loves Cindy. Everybody loves Cindy. I love Cindy as well. Cindy has been such an MVP for the team, and I almost didn't bring Cindy this week. Reason for that is half of the Bronx Beartics teams can one-shot Cindy. Manaphy gets Energy Ball. Tornadus gets Grass Knot. Mega Ampharos gets Grass Knot. Reuniclus gets Energy Ball. Amoonguss, Giga Drain. Asagore, Giga Drain. That's the 6 right there. That's half their team. And out of all those, probably like 4 or 5 of them we're expecting him to bring. So Cindy can very easily be manhandled this week and sent home packing, which is one of the reasons why I completely ruled Cindy out altogether, because I'm sure that Joey is going to be expecting us to bring this. Cindy has been invaluable for us over the past couple weeks. But ultimately, the 6th slot on the team became one of those things where out of all of our remaining mons, Cindy just helps us the best, because obviously Cindy being the bulky wall that it is, 248 in HP, 252 in defense, and 8 in attack, obviously being the bulky mon that Cindy is, Cindy does help us take care of the Weavile. Weavile can't touch Cindy. Like, a knockoff would hurt, but you're going to take that Rocky Helmet damage that we're holding first. We can hit you back with an Earthquake or a Scald and potentially get a burn. We can recover that damage off if need be. Icicle Crash, we're going to eat that up. Ice Shard, we're going to eat that up. You know, it helps us handle the Weavile. The Cobalion is another mon that it helps us deal with. It stops the Volt Switch. If he's running Volt Switch, Rocks, Iron Head, it's going to hurt a little bit, but we can eat up an Iron Head and turn around and hit back with an Earthquake. And a Close Combat we can take as well. And again, we're getting that Rocky Helmet damage off on the Cobalion as well. The Dugtrio is another mon that we can handle with Cindy. The Rhydon's another mon we can handle with Cindy. Claydol, another mon we can handle with Cindy. Although, that would be one of those, like, stall fest back and forth. But still, like I said, when it came down to the 6th slot on the team, and everybody else that was remaining, it just became one of those things where it's like, Cindy actually does end up helping us out a bit better than we think. We decided to go with Earthquake over Earth Power this week. What was the mon that we calced damage for? Was it Weavile or Cobalion? It was one of the two that we said Earthquake does a bit more than Earth Power does. I think it was Weavile. Earthquake does a bit more than Earth Power does. So we decided to go with that and put the 8 into attack because we're not there to dish out damage with Scald. Scald's there just to get burns. Like, that's honestly the biggest reason that people run Scald, period. That's the biggest reason we run Scald on Cindy. It's there just to get burns. So that's why we don't have any investments into special attack or anything like that. And of course, Toxin Recover is standard, so we can maybe Toxic a mon on his team and stall it out if need be with Recover. So, that is the plan for Joey's team. Like I said before, it's just going to be one of those weeks where if we make the wrong play on the wrong turn, it's going to cost us the battle. If we choke and don't think far enough ahead, I know people hate it when I sit there and I spend my time thinking in the middle of the battle, but if we don't think far enough ahead, that could ruin us as well, because like I said, Sadie's going crazy in the background. Like I said, it could be one of those situations where he predicts a Psyshock from our Gardevoir and goes at the Weavile, and then Weavile can just manhandle Gardevoir. You know, it's one of those things where we just have to play as carefully as we can and try not to get absolutely destroyed. That's really the only thing I can say. I'm very, very nervous for this week's battle. We're either going to be 7-1 or 6-2, which either way, the score, we still have a decent score. We're still looking good to head into playoffs for this season, because as the season progresses and gets to like the halfway point, like week 8 is officially over the halfway point because we have a 15-week season, so there's not an even number for us, even number of weeks to be a halfway point. But we're basically on the second half of the season now, and that's when we're really going to start to see and determine who's going to make it to playoffs and whatnot. I never expected to make it to playoffs. I will tell you that right now. I never expected to make it to playoffs. And again, knock on wood, we could lose our next 8 weeks worth of battles. Even this battle this week and the following 7 weeks after that, and end the season at 9-6. You know? I hope that's not what happens. But we could very well lose all our battles and not make it to the playoffs. So I'm very, very lucky, and I'm very, very happy that we have the record that we have so far. I don't ever want to take it for granted because it could all just disappear in the blink of an eye. So, like I said, I'm very, very nervous. I'm very, very scared for this week's battle, and I'm going to try my best. As the coach of your Tucson Terrakions, I'm going to try my best, and hopefully we can pull out a W. I was actually shocked last week because I meant to mention this in the beginning of the video. We didn't have a team prep video for last week's battle against Mo. That was just because we had like the Until Dawn 10-hour live stream on Twitch on Thursday night, and then Twit was staying over, and we just didn't get a chance. There wasn't enough time in the day to get a team prep video up. And for me, the team prep videos I see as like extra content. You know, I try not to count that as part of our Friday uploads. I just see it as extra content because when it comes to being a part of the UCL, only commitment we have is to upload the battle each Saturday. The team prep video is just there to help give you guys an insight into our squad, our strategy, our mindset, our thought process behind bringing the team that we brought. And last week, I didn't really like it because it was like you guys were just walking into the battle in the dark with us. You know, we didn't really have our strategy laid out on how we wanted to approach that battle. We still came out perfectly fine, which I'm actually shocked. I didn't notice until right before the battle. Twit was standing here and he was talking to me, and he pointed out that we had 3 choice users last week's battle. We had Choice Bandit, Quillfish, Choice Specs Gengar, and Choice Scarf Krookodile. Half our team was choiced. But, I mean, it worked. It worked at the end of the day. We still came out with the W, the 1-0 nonetheless. But we need to focus on this week's battle, and hopefully all goes well. Let me know if there's any ideas or things that you may have caught that I didn't in the comment section below, because this is a constructive process. We're building, we're learning, so even if we do lose this week, we want to learn from that loss and apply it to next week and future battles from there on out. So let me know what you guys think of the team, any changes or anything else that you would make in the comment section below. And of course, if you guys enjoyed our team prep video and you're happy it's back, like I said, I was shocked at how many people said, hey, how come there's no team prep video this week, Dappy? It blew me away. But still, if you're hyped for tomorrow's UCL battle, which will go up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and of course, if you're a proud member of the Dappy Nation, make sure you smash our like button down below for us, because you already know your support is greatly appreciated. I'm gonna get about. Thank y'all once again for your support, and thank you for checking out the video. Give me YouTube 92. I'm out.